Hi everyone, I'm Jessica with Ellie and Mac, and today we have something a little bit different to show you. And I think it's going to be pretty fun, so let's get into it. Today I have a cute little buddy joining us. This is Teddy Huggy, and he's pretty cute, super soft. And what I noticed about him, the first thing is that his legs are like super adjustable, which is going to be perfect because we're going to dress him up. So let's get into that. First thing is he actually came with his own outfit, which is fun. But since this is a sewing channel, we're also going to do some other things. So let me show you his outfit that he came with, and then we'll move to the next thing. Here's his outfit. So let me get this open for you. Okay, so it came with an adorable little hat. This looks like a little scarf. A cute little shirt. These are like suspenders. So let's dress him up and see how it looks, shall we? So I have a cute little Teddy Huggy all dressed up in his hat, his shirt, his overalls, and his scarf. The cutest little winter outfit. And I think is also adorable is that there's a little spot for his little fluffy tail. That's adorable. I love that he can do like standing with his legs, and he can also sit. He's super fun. He'd be great to have a tea party with, I'm sure. He's got this cute little fluff in his eyes, like a little dog that has like fluff in their eyes. The only thing we need to do is make him an outfit with some Ellie and Mac patterns. So let's go figure out what outfit we are going to make for Mr. Teddy Huggy. So I'm over here at ellieandmac.com, and we're going to come up to these three little dashes on the top left. And if you're on a desktop, it looks similar but not exactly the same, but you're going into all the same menus. We're going to go into sewing patterns, crafts and bundles, and I think on the desktop version actually everything's laid out and you can go directly over to the doll patterns, but on here you just open that up and go to doll patterns. So trying to decide what kind of look we want for Teddy Huggy. He's blue, so I was kind of thinking to go with like the shirt and pants and or shorts, kind of like what he's wearing now, but maybe a spring outfit since he's got a winter one on. So there's a couple options. There's this one. This is the Be Active Shorts and Raglan Tee Doll pattern set. And so basically it's this little raglan shirt and these athletic shorts with the color blocking, which is actually really cute because you can get this exact same outfit in kid size. There's an example of the kid with the matching doll set. Another one I was looking at was this color block tie top and sunshine leggings. So as you can see, it's a color blocked top with regular sleeves, and here's a good example with the leggings on the bottom, which I think would be really cute for Teddy Huggy. Now you can see that this doll is 18 inches, and I need to measure Teddy Huggy, but I don't think he's this big, and his legs are definitely not as long. So we will have to make a couple of adjustments, but I don't think it will be too bad. So those are good options. This one's really cute, but I don't know if it fits his style. I don't know what y'all think about that, but it's adorable. This is another one that's super cute. Go Exploring and Flare Straight Pants. So the Go Exploring is the cardigan part. So you can have this long cardigan with pockets, and then you can make the pants. And again, these also come in kid sizes. So like the kid sizes, the pants are straight or flare, and so are these. And they even have pockets in the back and the little yoke. And then there is one that's free, one doll pattern that's free, just so you know. This is the School Cool Doll Sewing Pattern, which could be really adorable for a little bear too. So I'm thinking I'm going to go with this one. And the only reason on this first time is because it doesn't have the color blocking through the bodice, and I don't know how much shorter I'm going to need to make Mr. Teddy Huggy, so I think it will be easy to just trim this if it needs to be a little shorter. And then he'll have a little cute pair of shorts. So I've downloaded that pattern and opened it up in Adobe Reader, which is a free program. And I'm going to go ahead and use this to measure the sizing on the doll patterns and then compare it to Teddy Huggy's measurements. Now you could print them and then compare them, but this way I can check and make sure that everything's going to work beforehand. So in Adobe Reader, you just need to go find the measuring tool, and it looks a little different depending on which version of Adobe Reader you have, but essentially this is it. You can just pull down from one spot to another, and on the bottom there, it will tell you the measurements, which is really convenient. So I went ahead and measured across the bottom and the side of the top so I could get a feel for how big this was. And you can also measure the shorts and see how long they are. That's up to you. But I just wanted to show you that I had this tool. So I went ahead and undressed Teddy and started taking all his measurements. I basically took all the measurements that you would take on a human. And don't forget to write down your measurements. And then I went ahead and measured the clothes too, just to get a feel for what interpretation the designer of the clothes did with the measurements. So if you haven't seen PDF patterns before, this is what they look like. You print them out on your computer and they all piece together. There are lines on this side, and depending on if you're printing on letter-sized paper or A4-sized paper, you're going to line them up with either this solid line or this dashed line. I'm using letter paper, so I'm going to line it up with the solid line. The pages are also numbered, so here's number 1. Now, these are really little, so it might be that each of these actually don't really need to be taped together. See how the pattern piece is all on one page? So if they were bigger, like for a human, you would put them together and the lines would go across, and then you would then tape it and cut it out that way. But these are all individual. So I'm going to go through the papers and see if there's any that I need to actually tape. Gosh, that's so easy. Nothing needs to be taped. So all we're going to do is cut it. And sometimes I use a projector. In this case, I'm not. I'm using the paper because I know there's going to be some adjustments we need to make. And it's just easier to show you and easier for me to tape them together. Otherwise, I would be tracing from the projector, which is also fine. It also works, but this is great. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all these out and come back. Okay, so I've got everything cut out. And what I didn't realize about this pattern before that is kind of neat is that there is actually a slim fit short and a regular fit short. So for Teddy, who's got this cute little belly, that's going to be easier to modify these ones that are the regular fit. If you had a slimmer bear or doll, you could use this set right here, which is like the slimmer one. So we're actually going to take those out. And the only pieces we're working with are just these right here. And there aren't too many modifications. He's just a little shorter than the dolls. And his neck is just a little bit wider. And his belly is just slightly wider. So that's what we're going to change. And I'll show you how to do it. Super simple. Let's start with the shorts. These are color blocked. So you have a bottom and a top for the front and for the back. So essentially when you sew them, what happens is that this goes on top of there. So we can overlap this by about 1/4 inch, which is our seam allowance on both of these. And what I know about Teddy is that his inseam, or this area right here down to his ankle, is super, super short. It's like maybe 2 inches, right? Right there. Depending on where you want the bottom of your pants or shorts to fit. So dolls are taller, and we can measure this. You can use this, but I'm going to show you with this bright pink so you can see it really well. So at that point, we still need to hem it, and there'll be a seam allowance right here too. So we're overlapping right there, and when we do that, we're at about 2.5. Just to make that easy. So that would be 2.25 if you take out the seam allowance, and then it has a 1/2 inch hem. So then you're at 1.75, which are going to be pants, but these are supposed to be shorts. So my thought is, yes, you can take it out of here, but then your color block is going to be really short. You can take it out of here, the length out of this area right here, but then you've got this swooping up. So an easy way to fix this is just to bring this up a little higher, like that, and then you still get a color block look. But that means we need to do just a little bit of trimming on this piece to make that look the same. So let's get to that, and we'll just do it for both of them. This is pretty easy with a ruler. All I'm going to do is take a 1/2 inch off this bottom part in the same shape. So this is a clear ruler, and I'm just going to use this little marking here at the 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to make like a little mark all along this hem and make sure it's at that 1/2 inch all the way up. And then all we have to do is just cut it along our little dashed lines so that we get the same shape as we had before. It's just a little bit shorter. The hardest part is probably going to be right here, but we can just do the same thing. We're going to do our 1/2 inch up, and you can see where like the turn is right here. So what we can do is actually just come up in that spot and make a little mark so we know where it is. And then that way we can turn right there. So that's that one. And then let's see if this shape is pretty close to that. It is, it's just a little bit wider. So we can actually, like, we'll trim this, and then we can probably just lay this on top and trim it like that. So I'm going to grab some scissors and trim this up just like that. And then we can lay this on top. Yeah, I think that will work fine. Just make sure it's at that 1/2 inch all the way along. Yeah. And then we can just go ahead and trim that too, so that they're the same length. Perfect. And then that way when we line these up, they're going to be great. So this actually, like when you sew it, right, the fabric can actually move better than paper. So it's going to go like this, and then you're going to curve backward, and then it'll be attached on, boop, just like that. And he'll have some long shorts. I think that will be really cute. So those pieces are done, and we'll go ahead and cut those out of the fabric. As for the waistband, Teddy's belly is 12.75. This is cut on a fold, so we've got just over 6.5, so that would be 13. That will work fine because we're going to end up with knit fabric with elastic in it. Let's move to the bodice. When I cut this out, I actually just went ahead and left some extra paper on the sides because I know that Teddy's just a little bit wider than the doll. And the same with the neckband, I left a little bit of paper beyond where it actually ends because I know his neck's a little wider. Now, if you cut it out normal, that's fine. You can just tape a piece of paper behind if you need to make it wider for your bear, or whatever animal you want to fit this to. Teddy's measurements versus the doll's measurements and his shirt's measurement tells me this one's a little bit bigger, and he is a little bit bigger than the doll shirt. Not by much. It's a quarter, well, it's a total of 1 inch that I need to add to the width of the shirt that we're making. So all we need to do is just add a 1/4 inch to each side. So a 1/4 inch here, a 1/4 inch here, and then we can add the 1/4 inch here on the side, or we can add it here at the back. I'm actually going to add it at the back, and the reason is because his neck is a little bit wider than the neckband too, and if I add it here at the back, I add that width here, then that will account for my neckband, and I can make it just a little bit wider too, and I think that will work perfectly to make it fit. Sometimes I like to use a rotary cutter, which if you don't want your rotary cutter to be dull, don't do this, but mine's already kind of dull, so I'm not too worried about it. So this is the original line here, and I'm just going to add a 1/4 inch. Now again, if you didn't leave it on the sides, that's fine. Just grab some of your scrap paper and lay it behind a 1/4 inch out. And I'm just lining up a 1/4 inch out on this side of that. And there you go. For the shirt back, we just need to add that little bit right here. So I'm going to add a 1/4 inch on both of the sides of the back, because this is cut 2 mirrored. So you're going to have one this way and one this way. So for the pattern piece itself, we're just going to extend this out by a 1/4 inch. So we'll just take a look and see how much is a 1/4 inch. And then we can tape it on there and cut it. I wasn't paying attention and didn't get all the way to the bottom, but we're going to trim this off anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then as for the neckband, since we added just this extra on the back, we just need the neckband to be a 1/4 inch plus a 1/4 inch bigger, which is of course a 1/2 inch. So I think we've got a 1/2 inch right, yeah, about with this line here. So I'm just going to trim it there. And now it is a 1/2 inch longer. Perfect. Teddy's underarm, between his arm to where the hem of the shirt needs to sit, is not very long. So underarm to hem is 2. And on here it's 3.75. So it has a 1/2 inch hem allowance. So we need to make this 2.5 inches from the underarm down to the bottom there. So let's take a look at that. I can use this mat that I've got here too. So we've got 1, 2, and then this would be 3. And the little dots right here are a 1/2. So I'm going to just go ahead and line up my ruler on the 1/2 and the 1/2. And you can cut this, or if you want to preserve your pattern, you can actually just fold this part. On some of the things, like, it's not possible to fold very well on a curve with paper, but if it's a straight line like that, it's not that big of a deal to just fold it up. The back here matches the front, and do that here on the same line. So there's his front and back, the neckband, and then for the sleeve, basically this short sleeve is a long sleeve for Teddy. So here's what it would look like on him. This is a raglan sleeve, so it looks just a little different, but see how that's like, there's his little arm in there. But essentially, I think I'm just going to make him a long sleeve shirt, and we'll just cut it on the short sleeve line and see how that goes this first time. Or we can even just fold that up. And I think that will be okay. He can have long sleeves. That's fine. So here's his sleeve. And then we already did our waistband. We didn't need to change. And the front and the back. So here are all our pieces. So I'm going to pick fabrics, and then we'll come back and cut all these out, sew them up, and try them on Teddy. Okay, so for Teddy's clothes, I picked out some pretty simple fabrics. This is just a white jersey. It's pretty see-through, but perfect for doll and bear clothes. It has some stretch, but not a lot of stretch, mostly 2-way stretch and not 4-way stretch. And then for his sleeves, this is a raglan shirt that we decided to make him. I chose this burnout fabric. It's black. Burnout means that it's a little bit see-through as well. So I thought these two would go to get good together. So that's the shirt. And then for the shorts, I used the same burnout fabric along with And honestly, this is a fabric that doesn't really feel great on human skin. I don't know what it is. It's a very cheap jersey. Doesn't have a lot of stretch to it, and it's kind of rough, but you know what? Teddy bears don't care. So this worked out so perfect for the bottom part of the color blocking on the shorts. So let me show you how they turned out. Here is Teddy's little shirt. How cute is that? I think it turned out adorable. I did white top stitching on both the sleeves and the bottom, and then for the back I just added a couple pieces of Velcro. You could add Velcro all the way down the back, but because Teddy has a little tail right here, the shirt comes over, and I just thought it would be better if the Velcro had an opening so that it can go around his tail. Okay, so that's his shirt, and I'll put it on for him in just a minute. And then for his shorts, these are too cute. They're so cute. Look how cute they are. Oh my gosh, they're adorable. So they've got elastic in the waistband, and they've got this color blocking, and that burnout fabric is fine because again, it's on a teddy bear. Wouldn't probably use this for kids' clothes unless it was lined. So go ahead and put them on Teddy, and you can see how he looks all dressed up. I'm gonna do a little photo shoot with him here with his basketball because he's got his athletic clothes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to make clothes for your own bear or dolls or any other cute little creature, you can do the same and use these doll clothes. So go check them out at Ellie and Mac. Also be sure to subscribe, like, share this video, and go check out our other hundreds of videos on this channel. There are so many for humans as well as dolls. So we have like adult and kid patterns, and just so many other videos, tutorials, learning how to sew, all the way up to the advanced stuff. So we'll see you next time.